I made more on my lunch break making these videos. Literally on one lunch break, I did a brand deal that I would have made in the entire year. And that was my tipping point.
That's insane.
I was like, I can't justify being here anymore. I really want to touch on potential because everyone knows that they have potential. No one unlocks it and they forget about it. It's like the saddest thing in the world. The point of being in the crypto is to extract value from the crypto, not to be married to the crypto. You can go from poor to rich. It's just a state change. And a state change is simply a change in your reaction to a stimuli, the environment, changing that chemical reaction to it and doing a different thing. If you consider time as the most valuable asset, you start to optimize your actions for time, not for money. The better you get at optimizing for time, the easier it is to make money.
Guys, welcome back to my podcast. This is Harinder Mullay. I've got an amazing guest today. He's grown on YouTube to 150k subscribers, teaching crypto in the UK to a wide audience. And now he's taken on an entrepreneurial journey, which is insane. You're going to learn a bit more about that journey, the growth, seeing him grow as a family man. And also he's been on a bit of a transformation physically. So without further ado, Lewis Jackson. Lewis,
thank you, Harinder.
Welcome to the podcast today. Thank you so much for coming down.
No worries. I've been looking forward to this as an opportunity to get to know someone in my program as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get into that later. It's always better to have these in-person conversations. It's way better for the soul, I think, to not be on Zoom all the time. Yeah, it's happy to be here.
Even the Zoom has been like phenomenal for me. Like just because it's like seeing on this side of the screen and just watching you, you don't really see us, right? Obviously, you don't have that connection directly. And then we've had the Zoom calls when I joined your program, like you said, we'll talk about a bit later. To be in person and to see you now, it's amazing because you've got that. One of the reasons I think you've successfully kind of grew on YouTube and grew your audience the way it has, and it's still growing, is that kind of realness that you have. You have this authenticity and you have this kind of humility, which I think really resonates with the audience. How have you found it?
As an origin story for certainly what I'm doing right now, the business as it stands, this is the first thing that I did where business wasn't the priority for it. So I've probably had 10 to 12 different YouTube channels.
Before the current one?
Yeah. Just talking about whatever I'm interested in, just trying to make something into a business. This time around was like just a very different experience. So it came from a more authentic like starting point. So I was learning about crypto, I was investing myself. All of my friends were starting to get interested, then individually asking me about what's happening in crypto, like what crypto should I buy or whatever. And just, friends talk, but I can't talk to 10 different people individually like every day because it's just too much. So I uploaded a video explaining to all of them what I was seeing, and there was no intention for that to be a business or anything. It was just a time efficiency thing. I wanted to get the message out so I didn't have to waste all my time talking to everyone. And more than my friends watched it. And that's it's just kind of snowballed from there. So I think there's something to be said about going into something from a more pure angle for the enjoyment of it and how that relates and correlates to success from that moment.
So you're saying if you go with something like authentically and just kind of honestly without having really any expectation, you can see more sort of successes?
I'm saying that's a good way to start because it means you're starting for the right reasons. It's probably the fact that you're starting to help or you're starting because you enjoy something. Yeah. And that's a good origin. You absolutely, if you possess the skills or even don't possess the skills, you can grow that into something. And I can talk about that. I'm testament to that because I've grown something from that origin. But I think if you go into, and this is just me speaking from my own experience, if you go into something with the expectation that this is going to be a business, you're starting you're starting on the wrong step. It's like being on a staircase and trying to step up to the sixth step on the first go, but you need to kind of build it up. And I think the best way to do that is to start something genuinely.
And so you just started off doing YouTube videos for like friends. And how quickly did that grow into something a bit more like you knew, okay, I need to do this a bit more?
I had about 10 people that I was sending the videos to. And I started to get 11 views. I was always thinking, who is that extra person? What did they get from this? And then that 11 would turn to 12, 13, 50, 100, 200. And it got to around kind of the 1,000 views a video mark, probably within the first 3 months. To me, when I look back, that's very quickly, but at the time it felt just dead slow.
Yeah.
And not to, don't get this confused. It wasn't just like, I'm not posting once a week or something. I was posting 3 times a day for like 3 months.
Wow. And that was consistently?
Just consistent. I saw views pick up. I knew people were watching this and they were commenting and saying, this is really good stuff. I like how you communicate, the genuine nature of it all. And that's mostly because I was genuinely telling my friends. And then, you just kind of latch onto that. And I thought, let's ride this wave. Let's just go ham with it. And it's part of like what's built my methodologies over time to present day, just like this urgency that you apply to anything you're doing to increase output. And then it's a numbers game. Wow. We can get into more of that later. It's kind of all of these little experiences and the growth of the business. I've reflected on those consistently, I think a lot. And those have become the foundation for everything I've built so far. It's key that I was paying attention to those things rather than just letting them go and let them happen. If you reflect on things, you start to see patterns very easily. Then you apply what's worked for the future, and then it just works because it works.
I think that's great. I think it's that's really key advice as well for anyone wanting to start up, to have consistency and to kind of be authentic in what you want to do to start off with. And so you wasn't obviously doing YouTube full time in the beginning. What was you doing before that?
I did basically everything. I immediately before I jumped into full time, I was working in speech therapy. I got my degree in that. I studied in America for 4 years.
Wow.
I went all about. I did photography, I did film, I did all kinds of stuff in marketing and sales, door-to-door sales, in-house sales, all kinds of stuff. I ended up coming back to speech therapy, and it was speech therapy that kind of everyone wanted me to do.
So you was teaching speech therapy? Or?
Yeah, in schools, just helping kids with all kinds of language issues and stuff. While that's probably what I'm best at, is engaging with, I guess, young people with these. It kind of turned from almost speech therapy, but more into like social therapy in a way. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, I just like engaging with young kids because I think they've got all the potential.
Yeah.
And unlocking like none of it most of the time. And so that's really exciting to me. But at the same time, I was every day arriving at a school, putting the lanyard on my neck, and it was this action. It felt as if, and I can't stress this enough. It felt as if I was sacrificing myself. There's like this deep core. I feel sick putting this lanyard on.
Yeah,
and it was like symbolic for someone else tells me what to do, and also symbolic for I'm resigning to the fact that all the dreams I've had, all the businesses that I've tried to, that I aspire, all the potential that I believe I have, I'm giving it up for 8 hours today. And that was
someone else's dream, I guess.
Yeah. And it just, but deeper than that, it would hurt. Like it hurts me. And I got to a point where, I was making less than minimum wage on that job just because of the way I was positioned as an assistant for a while as well. So I just got paid less. But it got to a point where I made more on my lunch break making these videos. Literally on one lunch break, I did a brand deal that I would have made in the entire year. And that was my tipping point.
That's insane.
I was like, I can't justify being here anymore.
Yeah.
There's something else happening here. I've got to take advantage of it. And yeah, that was kind of, I've made it up in my mind already. Like, I'm just going to do this.
That's interesting because, like you said, you almost like kind of, it sounds like you're choking and you're getting the physical kind of, what's the word?
Reminiscence,
yeah,
the feeling. Yeah, I do.
Feeling,
I actually shake when I think about it.
That's insane.
It's a visceral, physical feeling.
Yeah. And that was enough to, obviously, I guess if you're feeling it physically at that point, you're like, no, something needs to change.
Yep.
But it's great that you kind of didn't like just, I guess, jump ship into something straight away that you had no clue about. You kind of actually had a bit of a side hustle going on, YouTube videos. You even had a brand deal that you said you made made the whole year's wage in one brand deal at lunchtime. And then you then carried on growing. What was the point where you're like, actually, I'm good. I can actually leave this now.
That was the moment. That was the lunch break. Yeah, literally, it was parked right outside the school. Just got off the phone with the guy and sent the contract over, and I signed it. Felt a little bit like Lil Wayne. There's like a song in a Lil Wayne lyric where he's like signing deals on while he's on the toilet or something. It was funny.
Was this one when you were sitting in the car and you're like, that's it? That
Yeah.
one. Okay, yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah.
That wasn't too long ago. You're talking about a year and a half.
Well,
maybe
it was 2 years ago.
Wow. And how long was you doing it until that point?
So I started in November 21, and then that ended up. I'm blurry on the time scales, but I think I was working there for about 6 months. Yeah, I just had enough. There was no point in being there aside from helping the kids, which I really loved.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I've got to pursue this potential. It's like one of the big things in me right now, certainly as I start doing speaking engagements and stuff and keynotes, which is crazy. I really want to touch on potential, because everyone knows that they have potential. No one unlocks it, and they forget about it. It's like the saddest thing in the world to forego potential.
Absolutely.
And when I mean potential, I don't necessarily mean you must do everything all the time. I mean, you should pursue 90% fulfillment in your life, because 90% fulfillment is actually relatively easy if you can focus and put your head down. But I think most people kind of want 100% potential, and if they can't get 100% potential, they won't even start, and then you don't achieve anything.
Yeah, you fell before you even started.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane, because I think it's amazing, because you're testament to that story in itself, right? You've got to a point where, so you did the YouTube videos that obviously grew. Let's talk about some of your YouTube videos, because you talk about specific maybe cryptos, don't you? Not like every single crypto. What kind of cryptos did you talk about?
So I think this is a really good time to get into my analytical view of things. I try to be very rational and very logical. So in cryptocurrency, there's a whole wide range of cryptos. Everyone's heard of like Shiba Inu or Dogecoin and even Bitcoin, Ethereum. And people generally in public just kind of categorize them all as crypto. But once you start getting into it, you start realizing, wait, they do different things actually. And so when you think about cryptos doing different things, it's much the same as just investing in businesses. Does this business have potential or does it not? And for what reasons does that business have potential? And so when you get analytical about it just takes a few logical questions to ask yourself, like, does this crypto solve a problem? If it solves a problem, how big is that problem? And if that problem is solved, will the value of that crypto go up?
Right.
It's very, very simple. I just think 99% of people don't even ask those questions. They kind of think, how can I get 1,000,000x on this meme coin and retire and be rich and buy a Lambo? In that kind of thought process, I was very hesitant to dive into meme coins, which are the ones that are very volatile. There's thousands of those. They don't do anything necessarily. They're kind of just lottery tickets in many ways. But much the way you would look at businesses, you want to see real problems being solved. And so in the crypto world, we call those utility assets. So which of these crypto assets are actually solving real problems? The first place my brain went was payments, because money makes the world go round, right?
True.
And so if something is going to change the way the world operates, it has to start with money, because money's the way everything flows. It's the origin of it all. And so that very quickly turns into, okay, which crypto assets are going to be used in the financial system? And then you're left with basically like 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just 2 out of the whole, like thousands of.
Basically. And there's tens of thousands of these cryptos now. And so when you can narrow it down to such a degree, it removes basically all of the overwhelm in crypto. And you know that when you're investing, this is more of a calculated bet rather than a gamble. Mm-hmm. Because you know that these problems need to be solved. These crypto assets solve the problems. And fortunately, in the XRP world, or XLM, the kind of the 2 assets that we're talking about with payments, the problems that they solve is global payments.
Right.
And, trillions of dollars move around the world every day. And if you can solve a multi-trillion-dollar problem, there is no way imaginable that crypto doesn't go up in value.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the thought process. And I kind of latched on to XRP. And the community there kind of took me really well, like received me really well. They saw me in real time kind of realize what XRP was. And I think that was part of they saw the authenticity in my reaction to like what I've just realized. it didn't come from a place of like, I'm the guru on this. It's more like, oh my goodness, I've just realized this about what I hold already, and I need to tell people about this as well. It's kind of just this really kind of viral excitement. That got picked up by a couple of outlets in the XRP space, and I went from like 4,000 followers to 40,000 in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it was that excitement. It was just like the genuine excitement and authenticity of like my reaction to something. And that has been the biggest needle mover for my audience size. I
think that's so like key, because like people, when they watch your videos, you actually see that, wow, this guy's just like a genuine guy. He's just being open on screen, and he's just like telling people what he's going through and what he thinks as well. And I think that's the beauty of why you've attracted such a wide crowd as well. I mean, like 150k subscribers approximately is insane, which is great. And also you have a community, which we'll talk about later, or within your sort of coaching program, which is quite, I mean, you have quite a lot of people who've signed up. And then you have a lot of people just following on like sort of X and Instagram as well. So I think it's fantastic that you've got to this sort of realization with crypto, and you found something that people can relate to, because that's what it's about, isn't it? A lot of relatability. And so with XRP being an XLM, are you kind of your primary coins that you're sort of interested in? Are you still following them? Are you still talking about them on your YouTube channel?
So I do, but I certainly want to, it's difficult, because what I want to just say very clearly, like when people are in the XRP space or any cryptocurrency, it could be Bitcoin or Ethereum, people very quickly get married to the asset. And certainly I was in that position as well. When I was at the peak of excitement, I thought this is the game changer. XRP is the game changer. And if you get locked into that position, it kind of limits your strategic thinking, and the emotions come in, and you can't actually make plans with those assets because you've kind of married them. There's no consideration for taking profits. And if there's no consideration for taking profits, there's no consideration for the value you can extract.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You're just literally just following this coin and nothing else, isn't it? Like, I love this.
The point of being in the crypto is to extract value from the crypto, not to be married to the crypto. So that's been a real fundamental change in the way I view things, in that actually I've always valued just the value. This crypto is going to get me there, and is, been doing so far. But what I'm married to is the what I can get from it, what the value I can extract from it. I do talk about XRP, but I really try to reshape the narrative that comes from me as this. There's actually deeper stuff going on here. It's not just about XRP. It's not just about the conspiracies that surround the financial system and BlackRock and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's fun, but it's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about entertainment. I've got a dream house to build. I've got a family to raise. XRP is going to take me there, but I am going to extract the value from my investments and achieve those goals. I talk with students all the time, like people in that situation where they're like, I'm never going to sell this. You get a lot of that in Bitcoin. You get a lot of it in XRP. I'm never selling this thing. I'm holding it forever.
Maxis on there, yeah.
And then they're like 70-year-olds saying that. And I'm like,
you should retire now.
Yeah, you don't have that much time. Like, what are we waiting for here?
Yeah.
I've had people in my program achieve retirement level financials. Like, on a platter, here you go. You can retire right now. All you have to do is sell the portfolio.
Yeah.
And every one of your financial goals has been achieved. We've already made a plan for it. We know where that money's going. We know how much yield you're going to generate. We know how much is going to be, to generate a will on a smart contract to kind of execute and everything. Here it is.
It's all done, ready.
And they're like, oh, but I really like XRP. What are you talking about?
They've forgotten the actual goal, isn't it? Like that, like you said, it's like you're married to the coin itself, but it's a vehicle, isn't it, to get to achieve your goals? Yeah.
So that's really, anytime I talk about any specific crypto now, it's always with that. Yeah, but time is actually the most valuable asset. How are you going to spend your time? You're going to be distracted, scrolling, just looking for the next bit of information on that crypto. Or are you going to start using that time effectively and plan strategically for this generational wealth that you're trying to get? And some people aren't trying for generational wealth. I had a 94-year-old in the program. She's a rock star, but she had no family, no one to give the money to, yet she's there holding on to the crypto. And even this move that we saw in crypto in November, really nice it was like a 3-4x for XRP, maybe more. And she was sat there like holding it. It's like you're 94. What? And I know that's like, I'm talking about the edge cases there, 94-year-old, but I'm just as passionate about that talking to someone my age.
Yeah.
Like, time is still the most valuable asset. Make your plans, think strategically about them for a short period of time at an intense pace, a high intensity time period, then forget about it. Because you've got kids to raise, you've got experiences to go and have. What are you doing worrying about crypto and regulation and stuff? You've already made your move, you've planned for it, go and live. And so that kind of difference in the way I give my content now, I think it's unlike any other crypto channel I see. Like, really, there isn't one that talks like that.
Particularly love that. And I think, and I was going to say earlier as well, like, because you talk about obviously certain assets that have value, or utility cases, actually solve a problem. Whereas like you got a lot of the space is filled with like influencers who are probably getting brand deals or probably getting like crypto deals to just like shill a coin. They're just kind of like, oh no, buy Doge or buy whatever. Not saying Doge specifically, but they kind of sell you that dream almost just to fill their bags and probably likeliness dump on you, the person who's kind of buying into it. And if you're not careful, you can get stung, isn't it? And so that's why I think I resonated with you and could see that. And I think why your followers do as well. It's that you're so far, you've been continuously honest about your journey and about actually what is the goal here? Why are we holding on to something we don't actually need? We just need it as a vehicle to get to what we need to really do or actually enjoy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think I thank you on behalf of the community for that as well, because I think it's a great you're a great asset in that sense, and we hope you continue doing that as well. And because you can see probably a lot of people would get at that point like maybe bigger deals and be like, okay, I'm done, I might just take the deal because I need the money, sort of thing. But you've always kind of kept like authentic about it, and then you even in the coaching group that you're even very honest about what's going on, isn't it? And I think that's great. And it's really great.
I think that the issue is that there is so much incentive from a brand deal perspective for people just to take the deal. And I certainly have taken deals that absolutely, like, you have to, when you've just jumped ship from your job and now you're like, this is my job now, you've got to make some decisions like that. It's up to you kind of how far you vet those companies and stuff. But I'll tell you, like 3 times a day in my inbox, I get an offer.
Really?
And I know if I close that deal, it's probably, in reality, $3,000-$4,000 for each one of those, which when I think about it, that's insane. Just 3 of those opportunities in my inbox that would close if I agreed to them, could make 12 grand a day.
That's insane, because that's like just one is probably the monthly wage for the average person,
exactly.
Potentially even.
Exactly. It's insane to say that. But at a certain point, you realize, what am I here for? Am I here to take these deals and be here for a short time and a fun time and have no regard for like anything legacy oriented? Or am I here for a bit more of this long-term play and there's something else I'm trying to achieve? And that's kind of the category that I'm falling into now. I'm certainly thinking about the next 5 years, 10 years. How am I looked at in 5 to 10 years about the things I was doing now? I'm not saying I'm anything special, but I think if you have longer plans, your short-term decisions just end up being more wise. And so that's kind of the position I'm in. So I basically say no to all of those emails.
Oh, really? Now? So
every day I say no to all of them. There may be a few of them that are interesting, but they never get over the line because it just feels weird. Crypto is full of money because these exchanges will pay influencers quite a lot of money, and you don't even need that many followers to get access to the money. I know people in the crypto space with millions of followers. That should actually narrow it down to probably a handful, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. They all get offered 80K to make one video mentioning an exchange or something. There's just money everywhere in that. It feels, something about it feels wrong to me. Other people will think it's perfectly fine and take the deal, and that's great because they've got their own goals that they're trying to achieve.
I was going to say, yeah.
For me, there's like a hesitation, and that hesitation grows stronger. Certainly as I build my own businesses and start to get that feeling of, lapel, the thing over my head,
the lanyard
over my head again, where if I'm being told what to say, I don't care how much money you're offering me to pay me. I just can't do it anymore because it's like it's like a physical, I can't do it.
You're far gone now in being in yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would be filling someone else's business with my audience when I could be providing the value that they came to me for at scale from my own businesses and just build my own thing.
And I think that's key now, actually, because I wanted to talk to you about your businesses and how, obviously, after the YouTube channel, that's still going, but you've kind of got that entrepreneurial spirit now, and you've got other things that are going on in the background and other like courses and stuff. So how did that come about, and what do you have going on at the moment?
I'll clarify. I've probably had 6, 7, 8 businesses before.
Okay.
It's just like the YouTube channels. I've been hustling and everything.
What sort of stuff?
Like website design.
Okay.
Social media marketing, just all kinds of stuff, whatever I could do.
You've literally done the hustle that a lot of us do, isn't it? Like we've all been through that, isn't it? I'll do a bit of social media, did a bit of graphic design.
Absolutely. I even did tutoring on how to use computers for like elderly people. I actually really like that.
I did that once.
It was we've all done, we do that. Yeah. The entrepreneurial spirit's always been in me, but the thing that I have learnt that is so true is that every business I ever had before would have succeeded if I'd applied more scale.
Really?
I was making, when I was 19 on a summer break or something, coming back from university, I contacted every shop in the high street that was local to me, like maybe 15 shops. I closed 2 of them, and they signed like £500 a month deals with me to operate their stuff. £1,000 a month. Very good.
As a 19-year-old.
Conversion rate, 20%. Insane. Very good. I stopped outreaching because I thought, I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I was thinking. I stopped outreaching. If I had taken that conversion rate and gone to every high street in the UK, I would have been making bank. I only realize that now. When I look back at my photography, I was doing food photography in London. I had a couple of restaurants that were paying me £1,500 pounds every time their menu changed. I was doing great. I had building a name for myself in London, and I stopped because it was like I thought I was doing enough. Only now do I realize, I've kind of alluded to that with the social media marketing thing. If I had contacted every shop in every high street in the UK, I'd have had a 40k a month business going at that time very easily. I know that now. I didn't know that then. And so I feel like anyone can make any business work, basically, but everyone completely underestimates the scale required to achieve it.
But what do you think, was it at that point, was it the lack of knowledge or experience, or you just felt, actually, I've done enough? Or do you feel like there was something else? What was it at that point?
I think it's a multitude of things. It's experience. Yeah, lack of experience is a big part of that, because obviously with experience, I've learned that scale is just like probably the most important thing. But there's also elements of like self-limitation. Like if I believe the ceiling is here, the ceiling is here. It's like we're actually wherever you put it. And so I've undergone this kind of transcendence of thought where whenever I'm engaging with things let's talk about money as a really easy example. If you say you're going to make 5k a month and that's the goal, you will maybe achieve 5k a month. And that's it. Because once you hit 5k a month, you've achieved it now. You can foot off the accelerator. And then what happens? Momentum is lost and you don't have 5k a month anymore. And so you're bound between these two ranges, 5k a month and maybe whatever your lowest is, like let's say 1k a month. You're ranged there forever until you realize that it is in fact the top number in that range that now needs to become your new floor. Like you can no longer accept that 5k. Anything below 5k should make you feel physically painful. So now what is the new high? Well, I'm just going to say the new high is 10k. And guess what? If you apply that 10k limit, you will reach that 10k limit and you'll come down to that 5k limit and you'll range between 10k and 5k. And I've noticed that on a multitude of occasions now, because I can only talk about things that I've experienced.
Yeah.
I experienced that at 5k, 10k, 15k, 20k, 25k, 30k, all the way up to kind of 65k I've seen that.
So literally each interval you've kind of implemented yourself and you're like, wow, this is actually happening at that level.
Yeah. And so like you should constantly be adjusting where that ceiling is. And at some point, and I'm realizing this very quickly, where is the ceiling? The ceiling's actually just where I put it. And so, when I think about my financial goals, I basically on a month-to-month basis, I've basically achieved what I'm looking for. I would like it to be a bit more passive, but we'll get there. But, I truly believe if I wanted to transition my business into a $250,000 a month business, and I set that as my goal, and I wouldn't accept any less than 100K a month, I bet you I'd do it. But, just like, here's, that question I asked, here's your financial freedom forever. Here you go. Do you want to take it? I've been at that kind of juncture where I don't know, maybe there's something's happened to me recently. I don't know. I'm just satisfied with my life. So me pursuing to 100K a month, 150K a month, I mean, it would be wonderful as a metric for like financial success, but it's losing its meaning as it continues up. And everyone hits their limit at different points. Like some people will start feeling that at $1 million a month. I know people making $1 million a month and they want to do more. But for me, I don't know. I just live a bit more conservatively than that. And, I even dream of the day where I can walk off into the sunset and just go and live my life.
Just like pack it all in, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'd do that?
There's an element of me that really romanticizes that. Whether that ends up happening, I can't commit to one or the other. I would say the most encouraging, most exciting thing about, in my opinion, the way I view my own world, I can't wait for me to make a decision like that. It's very exciting for me to think about finding a passion in Japanese culture and moving to Japan. Like if I wanted to do that, how cool is that? I'll just go and do that. Equally, if I wanted to make a 200K a month business, that's super exciting as well. Just go and do that. But it's not about pursuing like public facing metric of success. I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled and content with my life. Like I think that's what we should all strive for. And for me, that doesn't necessarily come with a $10 million house.
What is that point then of satisfaction, of like success, and you're like, actually, do you have that in your head of like, yeah, cool, that's it now, I think I've got that goal, I've reached it? Or is it more of a feeling? Or
I think it's probably a combo of all of those things. My wife and I were talking literally last night about this a house that we really want to go after, and it would actually mark a milestone in our lives where it's like, what else are we doing now? Like that's
you're that 94-year-old, like,
yeah,
take profits.
Yeah, but also like this would unlock how we would both define 90% fulfillment in life, like this next move for us. So it's a feeling, it's a goal that you've had in mind and then achieving it. So there's like an achievement thing there as well. I get this feeling. We don't live in a big house right now. We're just happy with our house. It's perfect for our family. I will sit down, see my wife with our newborn, see my 4-year-old just like dancing around doing a show or something. And I'm like, this is it. This is actually what I want. This is me 90% fulfillment in my life right now. I achieved that feeling, and I realized I achieved that feeling when someone asked me, like, what's your dream? What do you want to do with your life? And I was like, I'm living the dream right now. Like actually am. That can change. Circumstances can change. I could have a desire to go leave and live in Japan. Anything can change, absolutely. But where I stand right now, it's just like this. I'm just happy with everything. We can go anywhere in the world that we want to go to. It's a boring answer in many ways, but that's where I am. I don't need much more than this. Anything more than this would be purely a selfish pursuit. I'm not saying that's negative inherently, but I would have to have extra things happen in my life to make me want more at this point, which is the ideal situation. I feel like I'm just happy with it.
I don't think it's boring at all. I think actually, as a family man, you've got responsibilities. You just congratulations on your second child recently as well. You got 2 beautiful kids, a wonderful wife. You're able to run your business, and you got family who kind of help you within the business as well. And to what you've just said as another, like a dad to a dad, I think that sounds beautiful. And I think that's all really we need to do, isn't it? To get to that point. And actually, that's really why we're doing this. And I think dads are underrated in the sense, the ones who are out there going and hustling and trying to get to that point. Actually, when you do get to that point, it's like, wow, it can be simple. It doesn't have to be. It is just a vehicle that we're looking to get, take profits from, like our XRPs or whatever crypto or investments you might have. So I think it's a really key point that you've raised that. And there might be people out there listening that actually be like, yeah, no, it's okay. It's all good. We don't need to be greedy. You don't need to be selfish. You don't need to like go to millions of a month or whatever, which is, I mean, it's up to you. Like you said, it's not a bad thing either. It's if someone wants to have that desire, they want to do that, that's up to them. But I think the important thing I'm hearing from you is that actually it's get to your point where you've reached your goal. You're happy, you're successful, you're satisfied, and you can still continue running your business.
Absolutely. I just, people make zero effort into thinking about what that fulfillment level actually looks like. Because I've done 300 hours of individual calls with people on the lead up to kind of joining my program. And when I ask people like what their freedom number is, like what is that number? No one has any idea. Literally no one has any idea. And I just find it astonishing that you can be invested in something and not know what the destination is. Because it won't work. And this is where I get very passionate about strategic thinking, because I like logic and they go hand in hand. If I was trying to get here today without my phone and you didn't give me the address and I don't know where I am, how on earth am I getting here? It's not happening.
It's true, yeah.
I'm just going to wander aimlessly through streets and hope I end up, 26 miles away at this exact place that I need to be.
You can't rely on intuition at that point.
No, absolutely not. It's like you have to be reading the sun. But there's kind of two core elements of this whole thing. 3. First core element is you have to know your current self. You need to know where you are right now, who you are right now. And that's taking responsibility for basically everything that you've done, good and bad, because that is you. That's all your decisions. You made those choices. You are where you are. And because you've got that grounding, that foundation of where you are, now it's time to like set your sights on the destination. What's the exact destination? So, okay, I've turned location services on my phone now. I know where I am. Now I'm going to put in my destination. Now I can chart the course to get to my destination. We all do this every day when we use Google Maps, but we don't do it for our lives.
Yeah.
And it's super simple thing. I'm not revolutionary here. It's like, this is just very simple stuff, but it's buried beneath this like uncomfortability that no one is willing to kind of overcome that uncomfortability. You've taken the modules in the course. There's a part of it where you have to become responsible for all the bad things that have happened to you. Like if you've gone through trauma or something, you have to be responsible for that. You have to assume personal responsibility, because if you make £3,000 a month now, you are a person who makes £3,000 a month. Every decision you've made at this point has resulted in you being a person who makes £3,000 a month. I just love how much control people have and how little people realize how much control they have. And so you have your current situation and your desired situation, and humans have this amazing ability to be able to see a destination without the destination having been realized. And it's that ability that allows us to project a plan to go from point A to point B. And moving from point A to point B can be made extremely trivial. If I'm cold in here and it's warm outside, I'm going to shiver and my body will react and I will go outside because I need to be warm. Same both ways. I'll go outside, I'm too hot, I want to be cool, I'm going to come back inside. There's like a stimulus that happens from the environment. We react chemically. We take an action on that chemical reaction, and we've changed state. We changed states in hot and cold, young, old, awake, asleep, alive, dead. Life is just like state changes. That's all it is. And so you can go from hungry to satiated, thirsty to not thirsty. I don't know what the word is for that. You can go from poor to rich. It's just a state change. And a state change is simply a change in your reaction to a stimuli, the environment, changing that chemical reaction to it, and doing a different thing. And so that's a very simple way to kind of put this transition process that people undergo. But because people are so uncomfortable about this, the element where they have to accept personal responsibility, the moment it becomes hard, everyone stops.
Why do you think that is when our people are so uncomfortable about that? About their own taking personal responsibility? Why do you think that is?
Because everyone has an inflated sense of self. They think they are further forward than they are. You talk to anyone, most people would be like, I'm enlightened in this capacity. I know this. I know that I figured it out at this point. And challenging that goes against everything that you define yourself as. Successful. Let's say I regard myself as financially successful. Then an accountant comes in. There's a reason why we don't like working with accountants, because they show you what the numbers are. Imagine becoming the accountant yourself and shining a light on the reality of you. It's not nice. It's not nice. We've had people in the program spend like 3 months on that portion of the course because they were struggling every day to like overcome who they thought they were and actually who they really were. And for most people, that would just be very disappointing. And it is disappointing. It's that disappointment that allows you to build the foundation, to set your sight on the destination, and then your course is charted. Like, it's right there. You just go and do these steps and you get there. You know, if I view myself as athletic, then I do a beat test or something like at school, and everyone else beats me. That's a hit to my ego. That's like, I don't define myself as someone who achieves such a bad score on the beat test. But if I know that the beat test score, I don't know where I'm going here, is like 14, that's what I want to achieve, and I'm at a 2, well, I know what I have to do now because I can see the destination. The simple steps are, I've got to get more cardiovascularly fit, and I will achieve it. It's like actually just really simple. I really enjoy trivializing these things that everyone makes too complicated, because it's not complicated. It's really simple, but it requires this like reduction of ego, and it hurts to acknowledge those things. And that's why no one does it.
And I think that's amazing, Lewis, because like I've joined up, as you obviously know, the audience might not know, but I've joined up to Lewis's program. And firstly, the first Zoom call I had with you was just phenomenal. It was a bit of a starstruck moment. I think it was the depth that you go into in Block Flow about like trying to like set your goals, like you're talking, reflect on yourself a bit, because everyone's like all external and like looking outside, but actually reflect on yourself a bit. It's not that hard. Take that time out. You've given a bit of a roadmap, more than a roadmap. It's a very detailed way of explaining actually what you're going through, and then how you can technically take profits, but understand, what do you want first? Like anyone can tell you, yo, get a big house, get a big car, but what do you really want? And I love that about it, because you talk about memento mori, which is fantastic. A lot of people might not know about memento mori, so I might ask you to just explain that in a second. But it's such a fascinating course. Obviously, it's a bit long. You've got the hour-long kind of videos, but you need that time, that no distraction to go through it and to really like digest and understand the process. And once it's done, it's done. Mm-hmm. You know, it's out the way. Like this course might, at the point of the podcast being released, might not be as timely as maybe having bought it like maybe early last year or late last year. But we'll talk about other programs that you've got in the pipeline, which is going to be so exciting. It's so amazing that you took the time out to do it. It reminds me of sort of Jeremy Clarkson's Farm. When the intro and stuff, when you got that Western intro, it's fantastic. It gets you kind of in the mood like. But all branding, and this is what I wanted to touch on in a bit later as well, the detail that goes into sort of the branding and the kind of the customer journey and actually knowing your audience, because there's the really, really key things that people need to know and understand in business. But I just wanted to touch on actually memento mori that you mentioned in the course. Where did that come about from?
Memento mori is the awareness of the inevitability of death. So knowing that the end is coming, it will come for everyone. And for me, how that then motivates me to get some stuff done. I think you can take memento mori in 2 different ways. One way would be more of like what do you call it, like fatalistic way
like
of
let it be kind of thing.
Yeah, just like nothing matters. I tend to not fall on that side of things typically. So how I do fall into the way of thinking is like, I've got very limited time. for some reason it's instilled in me that I want to achieve something. I've got this thing that I need to achieve that's really hard to define sometimes. So let's get to work. Like that's the kind of mentality. And so
Kind of like take action, isn't it? Like
take action, yeah. But do so in the acknowledgement that time is the most valuable asset. And if you consider time as the most valuable asset, you start to optimize your actions for time, not for money. And the better you get at optimizing for time, the easier it is to make money. It's kind of this fun, weird kind of balance that happens. It's counterintuitive in many ways. But I think for me, I've been around a lot of death for some reason. I had it when I was 17, my best friend took his life. I don't want to say that to get any like monetization problems.
Sorry to
and that hit me. That's like the first experience of that. And pretty consistently in my life at university, it was maybe like 3 or 4 people that died that I knew. I got back to the UK. Someone got in a car accident, and that happened again. And I had a friend had another car accident in America, so I went over for a funeral a few years ago. And even in January this year, someone like one of my childhood best friends did the same thing.
Sorry to hear that. That's must have been difficult though.
Well, yes, absolutely, but it's life and death. But you start to, and I had my granddad as well in between all of that, who died. He was just very old, but
he had a big influence on you actually, because I remember you shared something about he used to sing with you, and some songs you used to have.
Yeah, he's the whole reason my music taste is like 40s and 50s music, and he was just a great person. So he had quite a lot of influence on me, and that was kind of the first close family member that had died. But I realized that it's those little milestones in life where you start realizing that you're finite. There will be an end. And I just, again, there's something in me that took that as a motivational piece rather than the more depressed angle. And so I think as I came across Memento Mori just randomly, I read the kind of definition of it and I was like, that's what I've been feeling. And it's just, you try to carry that in every decision you make. This is how you optimize for time. You basically consider Memento Mori in everything you do. Is this going to be the best use of my time? In the acknowledgement that my time is limited, not because my time is valuable, but my time is very valuable. I have very limited time. I don't care if you're 10 or you're 34 or you're 94. Time is still the most valuable asset. Everyone's asked that question before to themselves or seen it online, where it's like, if I gave you $10 million right now, would you take it? Yeah. Would you take it if you died tomorrow? No. This is more valuable. The time is more valuable.
I did think about that for a minute. I was like, I probably would actually for my family. I was like, if it goes to my family and they could take care of that. Because the same, it is obviously absolutely, you wouldn't take it like if you know you're not going to wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
But I sort of pondered on that a little bit, and I was like, maybe just for my family, if that can happen.
Yeah, and that's up to everyone, right? There's a sacrificial element to.
Not saying that I was just like, don't someone just give me 10 million to just like, take my life.
It's just how I operate on like my thought process every day. And it sounds weird to think, but I think about death all day.
I won't talk about this too much, but actually it's very prominent in our teachings. Actually, to like we have our gurus and our wisdom. Mm-hmm. They share the wisdom of like the higher wisdom. And especially the ninth guru talks about like, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You don't have enough time. Do what you need to do in this life. And then they talk about actually for us, it's like reciting the name. And through reciting the name through meditation, actually you get to elevate in terms of spiritually.
Yep.
And everything becomes a bit more clearer. So
yeah, and so it's also a cyclical life experience, right? In the way you view things. It's kind of like there's a reincarnation piece.
There is, absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting because I went to Dallas like twice on a specific like world religions kind of trip. It was one of my favorite things that I ever did. It was so much fun. Even because it was a class for university, so we like had to get a grade. The first time I did it, I was getting a grade. The second time I did it, I volunteered to do it because it was so much fun. So we go to all like the temples and stuff, and we sat down and sat in a Sikh temple and ate food. It was just great. Learned about like the 10 gurus and the kind of the 5 pillars of what do you call it? there's 5 pillars.
Oh right, yeah.
And the 5Ks as well. No, 5Ks is one thing, but then the also just like the way you view the world, and it was great. So I'm like a retail dabbler in the Sikh world.
Oh, there's so much more like to it, because it's a very like superficial in some of the ways that it's taught. I used to run, I won't cut this out, but I used to help run a YouTube channel, a bit called Basics of Sikhi, teaching my friend who wanted to teach the Sikh faith in English after 9/11, after a lot of innocent Sikhs were killed in America.
Yeah.
And then he sadly passed away from stage 4 cancer in 2017. And then I left in 2018, got married, but still sort of in touch with them. But they're still sort of carrying on the vision. And so similar to you, like being around death a lot, like had a car crash when I was younger and like questioned life and death at that point. And that was probably when I was at university, maybe 18, 19 years old. So kind of went through that same process. And I think that's probably where the similar kind of understanding of entrepreneurship, time is limited, make the most of time because you don't have much of it left. Mm-hmm. And it's a great reminder. That's why I resonated with your course so much, because you go through the details and what you said earlier about actually, if you've got goals and you can realize that profit in, say, your investments, why not just do it? Just do it and just crack on.
Yep.
And then you can actually live your life. And it doesn't need to be millions and gazillions of pounds. It can be just whatever works for your situation, isn't it?
Isn't it fascinating how that's such a hard decision in reality?
I think because we're always like, got this FOMO and we're kind of marketed to, as a marketer, and you'll know as well how the industry kind of is, there is that idea of like constantly let's try and get the audience's attention, and so your attention span is just gone, isn't it? Because you're on social media scrolling away, someone else, another offer's come up, another video's come up, you got TikTok scrolling, and then you're constantly just in this battle, which isn't probably our fault to some degree, but obviously we should take responsibility for maybe how much phone time, device time that we have, to then actually be like, maybe let's step back and actually review things a little bit. Let's get back into the real reality. Time is limited. What do we need to do in this life?
I'm in a duality of mind right now because there's new research that's come out about basically like a new drug that's got like muscle synthesis and stuff. It's insane, the results that it's getting. I think I mentioned it. I mentioned it in the community area where I said like, look at this company.
Oh, Regen, was it?
Yeah. Regeneron.
Yeah, that's it.
They basically just unlock this chemical or concoction or whatever that will increase people's muscle and decrease fat. The more muscle you have, typically the healthier you are just in general. And it's in like pill format. And it's not out yet, but that's why I've kind of like invested a little bit early on that just to see. So the reason I say all of that, that's kind of really on a tangent there. The reason I say that is because I partially believe that I'll live to like 150, not by anything of the decisions that I make, but just because technology, AI is going to figure out DNA strand construction and figure it out. You know, you've got Dr. Sinclair who's figured out that aging is a disease and you can use metformin. And do you know about any of this? Resveratrol and stuff?
I didn't, but everyone keeps telling me that I don't look 40 years old, I look about 21.
Yeah, well, good for you.
And it's only because I have metformin, because my sugar's quite high.
Oh, no way.
And I was like, is it because of the metformin? I look so
Yeah, so there's metformin, resveratrol, and NMN. That combination has increased the lifespan of mice, for example, like 1.5 times or something, which applied to the humans, that gives everyone the ability to live to like 150.
So it's possible.
Yes, that you just got to wait for these trials and stuff to all finish. But so part of me believes that time is becoming less scarce, but for now, time is very scarce. We know basically how much time we have on average. And so you kind of have to have the mindset of let's work towards that and engage with life as if it's going to end. But I have to admit, like in all honesty, there's part of me that thinks they'll figure it out. They'll figure out death. And then that becomes a whole different conversation. But I try not to live in that future too much, although I love it. How much more valuable does your life feel if you live like it's going to end versus that it's never going to end?
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely place more value if you do think of it. I think a lot of people don't think about it, but
again, that's a pain thing.
Yeah.
Pain avoidance. That's what they're doing. Everyone thinks about death, but you can shield it and cover it up because it's horrible to think about in many ways, depending on your kind of belief system. But it's a painful topic, so people just don't do it.
And it's also, I do think that people sort of talk about, or they might think about death, but sometimes quite superficially. Like, what I mean by that is like, sometimes I've not really been through a moment where actually I could have died. I could have had a pole gone through my head. I could have this car just crash into me. I could have been crushed within seconds, gone. Mm-hmm. Like, if you've had that close call with death, or you've had like someone very, very close to you go and just in an instant, then you're able to really comprehend it, I feel.
Yep.
I think a lot of people don't. They might be like, yeah, no, I'm not scared of death. I hear people say that. I'm like, maybe you're not, but have you really thought about it? And I've seen these same people being almost like not on their deathbed, but in a situation where they thought they were going to really die, shitting themselves.
Yeah.
So,
I talk about that. I talk about that as well in the material, where it's like this, what I call the unfulfilled farewell, where it's basically lying on your deathbed and regretting what you've done or what you haven't done, which is the worst. It's really, if you combine memento mori, that feeling like it will all end at some point, and you combine that, multiply that with this resistance to die, having not achieved your potential, I think that makes you dangerously capable. Like that mix, I feel like. That's really motivating, and if it's not, I don't know what planet you're on.
What's in the pipeline now? So you've got Blockflow, you've got the YouTube channel, you're working on something quite amazing now. You've just mentioned it yourself, and it's on your t-shirt. Dangerously capable. What's that?
So I just love. I also on the back. You haven't seen the back yet, but the back says "Master of all, Jack of none." So
we spoke about this the other day on another podcast.
So the thing that has grinded my gears the most over probably the last 20 years or so is everyone saying that I'm a jack of all trades. Because like, give me a guitar, I'll play the guitar. Ask me to speak Spanish, I'll speak Spanish. Like whatever it is, I can do it to a certain degree. And I found that I'm able to do that. I'm happy about that. It's a really good foundation to start from. But it really annoyed me when people said that, because I want to play guitar like John Mayer. I want to speak Spanish like people don't realize that I'm not Spanish, because it sounds so good. Like I
be fluent and
just like completely. And in everything I do, if I cook a meal for family, I want them to think this is like Michelin star quality, but I want that in all areas of life. So I've developed over my life, let's say, ways to get things done quicker. I don't know if you might not know, I play very high level golf. As a junior, the golf took me to America to play for 4 years.
Wow.
On a scholarship.
No, didn't know that.
So I was playing very high kind of national level golf. How did I do that? It's like what I'm trying to reflect on. How did I achieve that? How have I grown a business from where it started to where it is now? How have I done anything I've done in life? And I'm not kind of, everyone's on their own journey and does different things in life. I'm not trying to show off in any way, but I look back and I think, how have I achieved these things? There's actually some common threads about how I've engaged with life to achieve these very specific things. I can't tell you how to do things I haven't done. Things I have done, I can tell you how I've done them, and I have a brain that is sufficient enough to put it all together into some sort of framework. I think there's value in that. It combines with this whole idea of, I haven't reached my potential. I'm not even close. You haven't. You're not even close. Chloe in the back here hasn't reached her potential, not even close. How exciting is that? Because you have so much potential. You have all the potential. Chloe has all the potential. I have all the potential. And if you can just kind of apply a few things that have worked for me, I think would be pretty generic across the board, in how you engage with life and how you engage with time, more of that potential gets eaten up. You can actually achieve more of that. And for me, when I think about being a master of many things, I think that's so abnormal today that's where the dangerously part comes from, because it's like, whoa, that's like, don't mess with that person, because they are dangerously capable at anything that I put in front of them. If someone runs in here and tries to fight me, I've done jiu-jitsu, competitive jiu-jitsu, So I'm dangerously capable in that area of life. And equally, if someone comes in and starts speaking Spanish, I can help them because I speak Spanish, because my wife is Spanish speaking. I think there's something about that. There's certainly an ego element of that, because like, I want to be seen as someone who achieves. But I think there's something deeper in that too, where it's not about the ego, it's just about potential. It's like, this is my my life, I want to have the most potential possible. Just, I want you to imagine a person, you know, if you're in trouble and you've got to call one person in the world, they could be celebrity, anyone in the world. There's one person you could call. They will get you out of the situation you're in. You know, think about who that is. For me, this is going to sound funny. For me, that's Bear Grylls.
Okay.
If I'm in the forest or something, or I need help defending myself, whatever it is, I need money. That man is dangerously capable in all areas of life. I mean, convince me otherwise. Like, my dad is the other one. Maybe I should put my dad before Bear Grylls, but
I think I got put off with him because they cut the camera and then he just goes to do what he's doing.
But that guy's history speaks.
Whereas who's the other guy? There's another guy who's just full on. He just does it like raw. But anyway, that's the opinion as well. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good. It's still good choice. I mean, you would rather call him than maybe me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
I'm not going to get you stuck out.
Yeah, well, the reason like that kind of thought process, a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was a couple of months ago, this couple crashed in their car and they were like tipped over upside down. The car behind them was Gemma Collins, and Gemma Collins pulled over and was like, "You're right," you know, just like look, they're hanging upside down, and she's like looking at them.
Oh, I love.
And and she's making them laugh. And their response to that was, after the fact, the people who crashed, they were like, "That's who we wanted in that moment, someone to like raise the spirits."
Yeah.
And it brought up the question, like, who are you calling? Who do you want in these situations that's going to be dangerously capable? Who are you going to call? Typically, Gemma Collins wouldn't come up on that list of dangerously capable people, but in that very moment, she was dangerously capable at, you know, resolving that situation. So it's just trying to install as many new habits, many new traits into your life as possible that make you that dangerously capable individual for anyone in your life. If your achievements and your dangerous capability has been so proven to everyone around you, you're the person that they call. If they need money, they call you. If they need help with marketing, they call you. If they're in a car crash and they need picking up, they call you. You know, it's trying to become that person.
On the flip side, why would someone want to become like that? Because someone might be watching and be like,
"That's too much."
You know what I mean? I'm happy just doing my thing. Do you know what I mean? Quite. But what do you think someone want to go through to become like that? Like, why should they become like that?
It's an unknown. Like, I don't know what it is about me that wants that. And what I do know is that everyone operates on different vibrational levels. We operate on a similar vibrational level because you can tell that in the conversations we've had. Just immediate. But then there's people you walk down the street, you know, they're coming towards you, you're going towards them, and you're like, you're not on the same wavelength. Like, me and that person, we don't flow. Like, there's something about that doesn't work. And it's the same for everything I say. These vibrations that come out of my throat into this microphone, into the speaker on the computer on the other side, there will be something about what I'm saying, the way I'm saying it, that's not going to resonate. And so me saying this is like, everyone needs to do this, it's not going to work.
Of course, yeah.
But there's some people on the other side of the screen right now that their heart has raised a little bit. They're like, dangerously capable. I love that. That's what you need to pay attention to. If that's you, then your potential is limitless, because we're resonating on something. I'm actively doing those things. It's exciting to me. And some people just won't feel like that. And that's completely fine.
Do you think that, it's not saying that I don't resonate with it, because I do. And I think it's amazing that you're doing this. And I think it's great that someone is actually doing it. And it's you, because you've got all the kind of characteristics, I feel, for someone who should do it. Do you think there's an element of that being like dad mode a little bit? Kind of like, I'm the dad, I'm the hero. Because you got two girls as well, isn't it?
A boy and a girl.
Oh, boy and a girl. Sorry, my bad. Like, having a son, you kind of want to be the dad. But actually, I think having a daughter, I don't have a daughter, but I can imagine seeing other dads with daughters. There's that extra little hero element, isn't there? And it's like, I'm going to be the dad that you're going to like love forever, like, just because I'm a badass.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when they bring their prom date to the house to pick them up, I need you to view me. What's that movie? Yeah, what's the movie with 50 Cent in it? Who knows that one? Do you know that one?
No, which one was that?
Chloe?
Is it Bad Boy? No, not 50 Cent. Are you talking about the
no,
Bad Boys with, what's the name, Martin Lawrence?
No, it's definitely 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah, I thought I was thinking of Bad Boys as well.
When Reggie was like,
yeah, like Will Smith's just like...
No, it's definitely 50 Cent, 100%. I don't know what the movie, I forgot the movie, but the guy comes in.
Rich Guy, Hard
Yes, it is. It is. And he brings the prom date in there, and all the big muscly men in there doing like gym work and stuff. They clearly can do you some damage. And the prom date's like, I'm not going to do anything wrong. I'll get her back by 9 o'clock. It's just, I don't know what about that I love, but I kind of less of like a masculine forward mentality than that example, but more, it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's a man thing, or I don't know if it's even limited to gender, but I want to be seen as capable. For whatever reason, I just don't want to be seen as the person that is the opposite of capable.
Like sort of like the lazy kind of like, oh, don't forget him. Like kind of,
not even considered.
Yeah.
I want what I do to mean something, and I want it to mean something on such a deep level that in time of crisis, my name is called. I don't know what that is about me that wants that. But I will say, just as an example, my dad won't even realize that I remember this. My dad's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sniper.
It'd have to be like flipping.
No, my dad's pretty cool. He was in the police for a long time, anti-terrorism, sniper, everything.
Wow.
Very cool guy. We were driving once, and as I was driving, he was in the passenger seat. I must have done something on the road that the car in front of me just didn't like. And they stopped in front of me on a main road, stopped in front of the car. 2 men got out. Like, I was I was not dangerously capable in any capacity at this moment in time, but my dad was. And the moment their doors opened, my dad was out the car already, like ready to go.
He's on it, yeah.
Will stay with me forever, but certainly impacted me very, very much so in the moment where I was like, my dad was ready.
Yeah.
And the only reason he was ready is because I was there. He was ready to protect me. And I remember that so well. And maybe experiences like that kind of add to me, make up who I am and who I want to be, because it's a reflection of what I've seen as well in my dad. It's just like, I think there's pivotal experiences like that shape every individual.
That's amazing, because that's like, we call that something deado per deado, which means ready upon ready. Like you're ready, like to go, because we're like obviously like a martial race as well.
Yeah.
Like we have the whole military side. Having that, I mean, that's probably quite difficult to get to anyway. Having that, and then you aspiring to that and being like, wow, like inspired as well. That's amazing. And then for you to then want to then put it into your life, and then for your kids, that's fantastic. I mean, they'll like kind of want to be that hero for them, isn't it? You want to be that guy, that dude, that cool dad. But actually, I got this.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. But in all areas of life.
That's
so
insane.
it's worth defining things, I think, because when I say dangerously capable, you have to put a metric on it. Otherwise, it becomes ambiguous, like anything else. So what I like to put as the number is 1%. Am I in the top 1% of that skill? If I am, then I've achieved dangerous capability in that area. So right now, my golfing ability, I'm in the top 0.05% of golfers.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of golfers and I got good. It's just really useful. If you have any skill that you have in your life, search how many people in the world have the same skill level as you at that thing. If it's 1%, that's not the thing you need to be focusing on right now. You focus on something else. And I've got a whole process for doing that, because I've just analyzed how I've done things in the past. But it's a combination of, looking at where you stand. Where do I stand right now? Is a common theme here. Am I in the top 5%? Am I in the top 50%? Am I non-existent on that scale because I haven't even started the thing yet? I know nothing about it. Then where do I want to get to, and define that as a metric? What do I need to achieve in order to be in the top 1% of that skill? What you'll find is that 1%, achieving 1% in any skill is way easier than you think.
Really?
Way easier. Let me try and kind of put this into words. I talk about this certainly in the new material that I've been putting out, but 20% is Pareto's law. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. No.
So 20% of what you do results in 80% of what you get.
80-20.
80-20
Oh,
rule.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Pareto's law.
I didn't realize. You don't realize what's behind it, but yeah, you're like 80-20. Yeah, I know it.
So it's the same in crypto. Basically, if you have 20% of the knowledge on something, you're going to get 80% of the result as a result of that 20%.
Okay.
Which is why when you get into the cycle of scrolling on YouTube and like trying to find out this extra piece of information that you think is going to get you the next level, you probably already know what you need to know. It's going to get you 80% of the way there. What you're doing is now distracting yourself, and maybe by osmosis in that distraction, you're going to get that extra 20%. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'd rather trade a very easy 80% for a very difficult, arduous, multi-year journey to get that extra 20%.
Okay.
There's a diminishing returns thing that goes on there. So I think in any skill, there's a 20% of that skill that you can learn that will take you 80% of the way there. So if you can figure out what that 20% is and do that 20% very quickly, you become a skill acquisition machine.
That's insane. That's, like you said, that's dangerously capable.
Becoming dangerously capable very quickly. So let's talk about Spanish. So in order to speak a language at a 1% level as a non-native speaker, there's something like 1,000 words you need to know. Not the entire dictionary of that language, 1,000 words. Most of those words overlap in some way to English. If you're lucky if you start with English, but Turkish and Korean have some similarities as well. Afrikaans and Dutch have similarities. So there's always ways, regardless of who you are, you can kind of expedite that process even more. But you just learn those 1,000 words, you become a 1% Spanish speaker. There you go. I'm dangerously capable at Spanish. Someone asked me on the train where to go and they're in London and they're from Spain and they don't speak English. You could probably help now with your 1,000 words. Yeah. And so it's really not that hard.
This is pretty insane. Like if you can really like optimize your time, the way you view time, and actually become really capable. We'll talk about this conversation that we had the other day, which was insane. You can like really become dangerously capable. You can become really good and be that person, that alpha maybe, in your family or in your circle of influence or control. You can become that person that people turn to. And for some people who want to be that person, they can do that. Obviously, if you don't, then that's fine. Check out Lewis. Follow him on Instagram, on socials. We'll put the links in below. Amazing guy have you seen already on the show so far. There's so much to talk about, and I know we don't have as much time left. I mean, would you come back again, Lewis, to maybe?
Of course. I'll always be back if you call me.
Oh, mate, we'll definitely be calling you back, and we hopefully go through a lot more things and a lot more deeper. And if you have any questions for Lewis going forward in future, please put them in the comments below now, and then we can ask Lewis when he comes back, or maybe we meet him up. Maybe if we can go do a little day in the studio and the life of Lewis or something, see what's going on. Yeah, would that
absolutely
be?
I'd love it. I get along with you. Chloe can come as well.
Yeah, Chloe. Taking the cameras.
Yeah, just bring the whole crew.
So Lewis, we spoke the other day, and you mentioned some really cool stuff, because obviously you've got this dangerously capable coming out. You've got Blockflow, you've got YouTube, and you've probably got a load of other side projects that I don't even know about yet, which I can't wait to dive into one day.
Oh man,
you kind of have a really systemized approach to like business as well, which I love. And a lot of people don't know, but you're pretty like good at like using sort of the AI tools and stuff at the moment. And there's one thing that in particular that you mentioned of you talk about AI in the way of how to really understand your audience. You're right to sort of run through that process and what you do and how you use AI for anyone who's beginner friendly, who's kind of using AI or wants to grow their business in marketing, wherever they're service-based business or product-based business. Is there any sort of tips you can give into how you kind of actually, I guess, leverage your time?
Yeah. So at present, my business is basically just me. I get help from some humans from time to time, but I operate like probably a 10 to 15 person business right now. And I've basically just outsourced my business to AI without some of the creative elements that I have to own some of the creative elements because it's just not quite there yet. But there's a lot of low hanging fruit that we can get help with. Like if I'm doing market research or competitor analysis, I'm giving away my secret. I don't want any. Well, copy me if you want. It'll help, but I don't want my competitors to do this. This is the source. I go to a website called Apify or API-Fi, depending on how you say it. It's a bit like GIF and GIF. That is a scraper tool that will scrape any kind of YouTube channel or the comments, transcripts, anything. And I have Apify basically take all the transcripts, all the comments from all my competitors on their YouTube channels. I look at the questions that are most commonly asked in all of their comments that aren't being resolved by their channel. I put that into one document. I upload that document into ChatGPT as part of the knowledge base of my ChatGPT account. And I get it to create me solutions to problems that people are having.
That's insane. So you're running like your own AI agent.
Yes. So I probably have 10 to 15 agents doing things like that.
Wow, this is powerful. This is how you can really because people, if you're starting a business actually, or you're running one and you're kind of not sure about like audience or what content to do, actually, a good thing to do is maybe see your competitors and see what they're not answering or what they're not doing. And so you can provide value for your audience based on that, or even their audience.
That's it. So money is made when problems are solved, and problems are solved when pain is alleviated.
Wow.
So if you're seeing pain, and I got that from Charlie Morgan, by the way, that's not me, who I think got it from Sam Ovens, maybe. I don't know. There's like a chain of like, I got it in the end. If you're seeing problems that exist in other channels, they're clearly not being solved because the video didn't solve that problem. Therein lies an opportunity for you. So if you're trying to make content, there's endless content. I've literally got a list of like 100 videos that I can make at any given moment. And this is all data-based, data-driven, because I know what people aren't getting from other channels that I can provide them. Now, if you add this kind of like 10x leverage thing that I'm about to tell you into the mix, it's like it'll just explode your efforts, I think, for marketing. And I've just found this to work for me. It might not work for you, but listen and try it. So what I do is every call I have with a prospect, so like the call that we did originally when we first met, I recorded that transcript. That transcript automatically via Zapier goes into my case files. I have a case file for every person who's ever engaged with me, depending on, if it's on Instagram, on email, on a call, whatever. That transcript gets added to the case file, and the case file periodically is re-summarized by an agent, another one of the agents that comes in, looks at all the things that have happened, summarizes it all. Here's the key psychographics of this individual. Here's what they desire, what they want, and what you might be able to offer them in your product suite. Every person that I engage with has this case file. And so those case files are connected to ChatGPT because you can connect Google Drive. So I connect it to Google Drive. I can make personalized email sequences for every person that's engaged with me. And when I say personalized, I don't mean like change the first name.
Yeah.
I mean, if they mentioned something about their dog was sick in our call 6 months ago, my email sequence might acknowledge, how's the dog?
Yeah.
And it adds this level of personalization to the whole thing that means you can connect with your audience to a far greater level. And even further than that, if you're creating content and you're combining those two things together, you've now got a data-backed research from problems that aren't being solved by your competitors. And your audience so uniquely that you can combine all the case files into this psychographic rundown of exactly who they are. You build out an avatar, all done on AI, by the way. This exact avatar of who you're targeting. You have your products in there as well, so it knows what you can offer. And you combine those two things, and you can make videos for very specific people that convert very highly because they're touching on pain points that they actually have.
And they're qualified, obviously, already because of...
Yeah, and you can go through levels of qualification on top of that as well, if you want. That's like, you don't need to know the step-by-step on how to do that, because you can just YouTube that and figure out the step-by-step, each part of this. Or, here's a little tip for anyone. Go below this video on YouTube, click show more, show transcript, copy the whole transcript of this thing. Say, when, Lewis was talking about this AI structure that he has for his business, can you lay it out in step-by-step format? And ChatGPT will do it. Everything I've just said, so don't get overwhelmed, because you can have it all step by step right now, right in front of you in the next 10 seconds, and you can just apply it. Like, do that, and even go further and say, how do I set up a knowledge base? Give me a click-by-click tutorial on how to set up a knowledge base. How do I use Apify? How do I scrape transcripts? It'll just tell you.
That's insane.
That's the kind of leverage I'm looking at with the AI right now. Like,
You're pretty good at it now as well. You're not like, because you've been using it for a while. You're not just like, you're just like Google, like ChatGPT, kind of the way people use it. You kind of like actually understand the prompts.
Yeah, and I think if you contextually understand like what I'm trying to do there, what I'm trying to do is understand my audience better and deliver them more personal, more highly converting content. That's, as a concept, that's what I'm trying to do. The means by which I've done that is just utilizing the biggest resource we have at our fingertips right now, which is AI. And yeah, I would consider myself dangerously capable of AI right now, and it's right there for everyone. You can actually do everything I've just said for free, because Apify gives you a free trial. So
wow,
if you have a business and you want to create content, you can do all of that right now and just create killer content, because it knows exactly who you're targeting. I
have to get on that one. For
the there you go. So that's the source. I said I was going to deliver it.
That is insane, because that's immense value that you can provide. That you've obviously got the data, like you said. Anyone knows business is like, it's an exchange of value when you're like offering something, and people are then going to part with money or something to kind of obviously get that value. That's absolutely insane for a business owner who understands this concept, that you could really leverage and excel your business using AI.
Yep.
And obviously sometimes it does probably get negative press, but actually it just makes you more, like, optimizes your growth, isn't it? More. Absolutely. You can scale and you can use it in a good way, can't you?
I completely of the belief that there'll be a $1 trillion business that was made by one person and it stayed one person. I also, should I give you some hot takes on what I think AI is going to do?
Go on, yeah.
I also think our grandkids, maybe even our kids, will have serious relationships with AI.
There was a film about this. Do you remember?
Bicentennial Man?
No, I think it was called
That's a good
Go.
one.
Bicentennial. Yeah, check that out, guys. I haven't seen that yet. But
Oh my goodness, what are you playing at? Have you seen it, Chloe?
No, I haven't.
Go and watch Bicentennial Man. It's Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ruin it, but it basically predicted the future then, and you can see it perfectly playing out now with AI and everything. It's kind of genius.
Yeah, that's insane.
But go and watch it.
We'll definitely check that out, Lewis. I think you've given some amazing tips. Hot sauce right there from Lewis Jackson himself. I think we're gonna have to package this and sell it out.
Well, look, systemize it. That's the value in. That's why people have courses. It's not that the knowledge is like genius level knowledge or anything. Everyone has access to all this information, but when you package it in a way, and that's what you alluded to earlier. When I teach things, it's very detailed. And it takes a long time, absolutely, but nothing good that comes from, you don't get anything good from doing something very quick. Like, you got to take some time of intense effort. But I explain things from first principles understanding. So, just an explanation of like how we predict markets in the block flow program is we start to analyze the structure of carbon molecules. Yes. Do you remember this?
That's in your block flow.
It's in block flow.
Yeah.
So like, that's a first principles understanding way of looking at markets. We're understanding how the telomeres on a carbon molecule connect because they end up forming patterns in a very reliable, consistent way. And then as biology expands and the gene pools expand and stuff and DNA, you start to see the patterns in plants, you start to see it in weather patterns, in humans, the ratio of each segment of my finger versus my hand. There's patterns everywhere. And so because patterns are biological, in many ways, the responses I have to stimuli in the environment are also predictable. And so the two main drivers, the two emotions in investing are fear and greed. Fear makes you sell, greed makes you buy. And so when you look at a chart from that first principles understanding, this is just patterns playing out, you can start to make better predictions of the market. And so there's tools that we use to do that and everything that makes it a lot easier. But it's just when you package it in that way, and I say, hey, there's a sell point for XRP at X price, you don't look at that price and go, okay, I'm just taking your word for it. You deeply understand mathematically why that number is there. And so when the price gets close to that area, you're not panicking anymore because you're like, the emotions haven't run their limit yet. It'll reach this level and I'll take my profits. It's like a completely different way of looking at it, but it comes from first principles, like logical, cohesive, linear understanding. You'll know from taking the program, like every lesson builds on the one before.
Yeah.
So, if you can with AI, you don't even have to invent anything. You just package it in a way to where you're creating a learning experience that's linear and based on first principles. People understand it conceptually rather than you just telling them what to click. They understand it. And even Coach JV, I don't know if you've seen Coach JV in the XRP space.
Yeah, shout out to Coach JV. Actually, yeah, he's amazing. I've seen his TikToks and stuff.
I love Coach. He says a word called understand.
Yes.
So truly understanding the situation, like what you're trying to achieve, is like the biggest unlock, because then you can start to learn it truly, because then you don't need the tutorial because you get it. So yeah, absolutely package up that AI stuff and sell it in that way, but make sure people understand what it's attempting to do from the first place and just make it linear so no one gets confused.
Warriors.
Coach.
Get your shit together. Guys, yeah. I think you can agree that was an absolute amazing session from like hearing Lewis's journey. There's so much more we want to talk about and find out. And I'm so sorry we didn't go through all of it today. We were limited on time because this is how beautiful of a person Lewis is. He runs an absolute amazing business, but yet he wants to go back in time to go pick up his daughter and his wife. So it's like you want to cut off time for business, and then it's family time, and that's why it inspires me massively as a dad myself. So Guys, check out Lewis. Socials are below, links and stuff. Everything else will be below. Do follow Lewis. Check out his programs. They're absolutely amazing. 100% love having Lewis here today as well. So thank you so much, Lewis, for being here, taking the time out, and being a massive inspiration. Because, guys, it was actually Lewis that saw something in me, because I've wanted to do a podcast for a little while. And he was like, I was like, Lewis, I'll come help you out. I'll edit your videos. I can do all that. He was like, nah, man, I think you've got something bigger going on. And I was like, wow. And then I was like, I need to ask Lewis if he'll do it. And I thought he'd say no, if I'm honest. And Lewis, he was like first person to be like, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Like,
potential. You've got tons of it.
I really appreciate that, man, Lewis. And we look forward to having you back again. Sorry to the guys who might have missed out on a coaching call today, because Lewis has got a coaching call soon as well, which I usually attend. Out to the community, Lewis's community, to all the Blockflow people. Shout out to Coach JV, you just mentioned as well. Shout out to your lovely wife and your beautiful kids. And Lewis, thanks again. And we hopefully will see you again soon.
Thanks, Harinder.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and turn on all bell notifications so you can know when the next one comes out. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.